unique state. in
Reassess that.
Our parties actually don't run their primaries, right? The state runs the primary.
That's wrong.
Yeah.
Centralized again.
So, yeah, I mean, I'd
So
have
many
no
weird
problem with
things.
the parties running their own primaries.
You'd have to close them.
Yeah,
Well, let's
I-
fix these,
again,
fix
I-
these.
I've had no problem with that.
But even if this way,
Let's fix these.
We run the risk of some independent being a spoiler,
So that's what prompted that. That's what I'm trying to say. What prompted that is the idea that an independent comes in, and I would say that, over the course of the years, there have been, I would say, more Republican candidates that have been hurt by the independents than Democrats.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, I would
this-
agree.
So that's why there are a fair number of Republicans who say, well, this might not be a bad idea,
Yeah.
because we've lost some gubernatorial races based on an independent being in the race.
Yes.
And that's the prompt behind it, that and the idea that more people will be involved, because there are a lot of, most Rhode Islanders are unaffiliated, most Rhode Islanders are not Democrats or
Right,
Republicans, they're
right.
unaffiliated. And this would allow them to vote in a primary that doesn't identify them as either.
Right.
So those are the good-natured intent behind that
Yes,
bill.
I understand.
Right, so it's not now, ranked choice, I don't like ranked choice, I think ranked choice is not democratic, I don't like the process, anything that's confusing is not good for our electoral process, and we
Thank you.
couldn't do an audit on a ranked choice election. We couldn't do it, and so we're opposed to that. I'm open to an open primary idea for the reasons I just said. I'd like more participation. I think more participation is good, and I think less and less people want to identify with parties, because contrary to what you said, and I believe what you said, there are differences between the parties, but there's a large group of Americans that don't find any difference at all between the parties. They think it's the same.
Well,
there's no difference.
Right, so,
I mean,
right, so.
that's unfortunate.
Yeah, but
That's
I mean, that's a
unfortunate.
matter of opinion.
And if that bill gets introduced in the Senate, you can testify on it. It already had its hearing in the House last week, and 2 people testified in support of it. So just know that on the House side, they've already had the hearing, but if it gets introduced on the Senate side, can testify. All right, we only got time for like 2 more questions.
Yes.
Let's rewind again, because I can't get a question in. I understand your processes that you have, I understand the data that's transferred into the town halls. And if the town hall is doing their job like they should be, Gail should not be having to go in there and show them that they're not doing their job. And I understand you're saying, well, send it to you, but it's this person here. There has to be accountability, because clearly we're paying them, they're a clerk, they're an employee, they're not doing their job. So there needs to be some kind of an action plan, that's why I asked about the training, and there has to be some kind of recourse. These people are taking a paycheck, and if Gail has to go and do their job for them, there's a big problem.
Right, and that's why we want the data, so we can talk to the town and say, hey, you need to do your job. And that's why we request, whenever we hear that there's a voter that's voting at a business, or a voter who voted twice, or a voter that said they voted by mail, but they didn't, we need to know that, so that we can then look into it, and we can tell the town, hey, you need to get this done.
But what are the consequences if they ignore you? You can tell them, but.
Yeah, they're not gonna ignore us.
Is there some administrator in the town that has oversight
Well,
to?
their oversight is the board of canvassers in that town.
But we just need to know it so we can.
They don't have to answer to us because they're not elected.
But they can answer to me, Gail, so if you give me the data, we'll talk to them.
And that's a terrible answer, right? No
It was a terrible
no
answer.
person
There was a lot of us there
serving the
wanting to put
public
that
should ever
information
have
in front of
that
them.
attitude or answer.
So would
It's
it
a
be
terrible
fair
answer.
that if we submit things like that to the Board of Canvassers via email or something to CC you guys
Yes.
in it?
Yes,
Okay,
please.
perfect.
Oh,
Yes.
it's good.
So just, so one of the questions is just yes or no, but like, so when I worked in Exeter and they removed the mailing ballots from the drop box and brought them to the Board of Elections, those 2 people with the van, those were Board of Election workers. That's what you're, and then, so my other question is, you talked about this risk limiting audit at the beginning. So you're doing that with the election day ballots, but are mail-in ballots included in that audit?
Yes. Yeah, so
How
what-
are they included?
yeah, they-
Because you're still counting them within a week after the election, you have 10 days after the election?
Yeah,
or how?
the risk limiting audit happens after all the results have been counted. So they randomly take election day polling places, they randomly take early voting towns, and they randomly take mail ballot precincts.
So, but you're having people in the town do this risk limiting audit.
No,
The people
no, the Board of Elections does the risk
The
limiting audit.
Board of Elections is conducting the risk limiting
Well, the
audit.
volunteers who,
Yeah, well, the Board of Elections oversees the risk limiting audit, yes.
So,
right.
but the,
you can ask the Board of Elections to serve as a
So
risk
you mean the
limiting
people that are appointed?
The people that are appointed are doing the risk limiting audit.
No, if you want to be involved in risk limiting
Anyone
audit,
in this room can get involved in that
Volunteer.
process, and you should.
yeah,
Gail did it.
you can do that.
so my issue with it is
And Rob
just.
said
Yep.
there was an opening, so I was able to do it.
Yeah, so
See, Gail, alright, so hold on, let's finish the question, because we don't have a lot of time left.
My issue is just that, like, so some of the votes are being counted locally, some of them are being counted at the Board of Elections, and then you're merging the two, and then having different people come and just like oversee both of those smashed together, like, how is that something that you can even audit?
So all the votes are being counted at the Board of Elections, so when the polling places and the early voting, they transmit the results to the Board of Elections. The mail ballots go back to the Board of Elections, so all of it is tabulated at the Board of Elections.
Even
The
the
local-
county votes from election day voting, or from like election
Yes,
day?
yes, they get sent, just like they would on election day, to the Board of Elections. So the Board of Elections is where all of the votes get sent to and tabbed.
Aggregated.
Yes,
So the Board of Elections has complete control from the one end of the process all the way through to the other end of the process, is that correct?
for the ballot? I mean,
For-
we send the
for-
ballot to a mail ballot voter, so.
Right, but they have complete control and oversight of who gets on the ballot all the way through to the end of the
No,
process and the
no.
risk limiting audits.
No, so
No?
the Secretary of State qualifies candidates for the ballot.
So talk about that qualification in terms of the.
We're gonna have to do this
candidates for the ballot.
offline, Chris,
Yeah,
because we
okay,
don't have a
all
lot of
right.
time. We have 2 minutes, and I wanna
Okay,
get to
all
your
right.
last question.
I just
Sorry.
want to ask, might be a question for you, Kathy. When a person goes to say, like a state agency to get like benefits or something, right? And it could be a citizen or non-citizen, right? And I'm told that they're asked, would you like to register to vote? I'm just wondering, how at that point, I know it goes to the Secretary of State's office, right? So how at that point is that vetted? Like how is the person vetted, whether they're a citizen or not, you know, whether they can vote or not? What is the process to
So,
vet them at that point?
You're asking about a state agency for
Right, like
assistance?
say like DHS or something like that.
So
you
if
know?
they're given a voter registration form, but that form has to be filled out by the person. So it's not, the state agency
Okay.
is not electronic.
Oh, okay,
It's not like the DMV.
Okay, because I was told that it goes right to the Secretary of State.
No.
Okay, so that's not true.
No, that's
So
right.
they're given a paper.
They're given a paper along with the rest of their applications to apply for assistance and ask if they wanna register to vote. So they have to fill out that form and send it back to either DHS, where the DHS sends it over to the State Board of Elections, where they distribute to the proper city or town, or they can drop it off at the city or town or mail it themselves.
Okay, so it's not electronic.
No, it's not, it's a
Okay.
paper form.
All right, thank you.
Last one.
Hopefully, it's a quick one. It kind of fractures all of the comments have been thrown around to now. Enrique Sanchez, I believe, is the fellow from Providence.
Correct?
He has failed 3 times under, the bill has been run over, 5461. He is vying for local election sanctions for illegals. How far do we gonna go down this hole? We got 10 months before we go to the federal.
So, just because I monitor what goes on in the, is that, Senator Morgan, is that bill presented on your side? I don't
That's,
think it
that
is.
sounds like a House bill,
Yeah, so
so
it's
I
on-
don't.
it is a House bill, but
what's
is
the
there-
number on it?
5461.
So, because I monitor what goes on in the General Assembly, that bill has no support.
That bill will never pass.
That has no support.
Okay.
Well, the representative just said it will never pass, but, so, she's a little more definitive than I am. But that bill has no support.
I mean, there's a lot of bills that come in that
Yeah.
have no.
I know, but I mean, this has got a point of insistence. I mean, he's been received.
Three years in a row.
Beautiful part about
Submitting.
America is we can elect anybody and they can put forward whatever they wanna put forward, and
Oh, yeah.
then we hope that the marketplace of ideas, then determines whether that idea moves forward. Right now, the marketplace of ideas is saying no to that idea.
Are you gonna have this in the East Bay? Did you already have one? And I missed it?
We're on our way to the East Bay.
When's that one?
We don't know yet.
We're scheduling like a month at a time, so we'll let you know.
And
Is
then-
there
and
any
then-
chance to have someone from the Board of Elections or the DMV?
We'll ask.
Thank you.
We can't, I can only control when he needs to, right? You can only ask.
Can I just request that, going along with that, someone from the DMV, someone from the BOE, and perhaps House Speaker Sakarchi
can only ask.
no,
Separation of
I'm
powers.
serious because legislation is important too.
Yeah.
Thank
And
you.
I would write to your representatives and senators and ask them
Don't worry,
to do what they want.
don't worry, I do.
Thank you for coming.